Hi, I'm Arthur, and today we are finally at that part of the content loop where I can make a sequel video to something I already did. A lot of people liked the 3 funny things video I did last time, so here we go again. I have a list of 3 funny things that I have discovered across the lore and history of Warhammer 40k that I think you're gonna enjoy. Warhammer 40k is not exactly a setting known for its sense of humor, but I think there's a lot to cover, thus why this is a sequel to the first video. Do you need to have seen the other video to understand this one or know any of the context to it? No, but if you watch it, that'd be pretty cool. I like to think the funniest thing of all is me. So if you agree with my delusions, make sure to give it a watch. While you're at it, like this video and subscribe, because it feeds the algorithm's machine spirit with teaspoons of truffle oil if you do so. Without mincing words, let's get into the first one. Okay, so this one is super weird in case you don't follow the hobby sphere and just like the lore of it. But if you do not order models or engage in like the tabletop game whatsoever, so sit back, I'm going to explain a few key concepts so that you understand. Basically, there are 3 main ways of purchasing miniatures. Say you want a shiny new box of generic infantry. You go to your local game store, be it a Games Workshop or just a normal hobby shop, see if they have the box on the shelf, then you buy it. That's one. If they don't have it, oftentimes these specific stores can actually order in the miniatures you're looking for at no additional cost. Hell, I knew a place in Eastern Canada that if they didn't have the miniature, they would order it and you get a small discount off of it for the inconvenience. But the third way is you navigate GW's website instead of going to a store. You order it directly from the website to your home, and it's usually there pretty quickly. I live a ways away from my local game store, so if I don't want to fuck around with a middleman, I will sometimes order a miniature from that site or any other site that's kind of affiliated with them. A fact is that on the off chance, sometimes you won't get what you ordered. It has happened enough times to be of note for most people, and for me, it's happened a few times, but my favorite time was I once ordered a codex for Imperial Fists in, I think, the 8th edition codex, and ended up getting the codex, as well as a box of custodian jet bikes, which I gave to a friend of mine because I don't play custodians, but I got it for free. I wasn't charged extra, so there is that, but what if you ordered a miniature that was, frankly, kind of old? But when it showed up, as if out of a dream, it was a brand new, updated version of the miniature with its whole stat page there. Well, that sounds fantastic, and also that fucking happened. Someone ordered a Commander Dante miniature. Lovable guy. And they didn't get Commander Dante. They got Primaris Commander Dante, which hadn't been announced and didn't exist at that point. So I can't help but imagine the pants-shitting glee that this individual whom got the miniature felt when he or she got that box. There is also like this awkward bit during the Adepticon announcements, I don't know if you remember, where they hastily announced a new campaign book for the Horus Heresy, and they're like, stay tuned because there's 2 new miniatures that come with this campaign book. But they didn't show the miniatures. I have this like conspiracy theory tinfoil hat thing where I think that the miniatures that were going to announce weren't ready, and they were going to instead announce Commander Dante's new model in that section, but because someone had already found it and the cat was out of the bag, they couldn't really do it, so they rushed a new thing. To their credit, GW played it off well. They saw the dude posting it online and were like, fuck it, the jig's up, post the trailer, and then they did. I don't know if it's up for pre-order right now, I'll double check once I'm done editing this video. They just made it available trailer-wise, told people what was going on, and just started promoting his work, because it was really, it wasn't his fault that he got it. So take notes, Wizard of the Coast, because someone had something similar to happen to them for Magic the Gathering, where they got a set before it was released, and instead of, being haha, the joke's on us for a shipping issue, they sent the fucking Pinkertons after that asshole. Rest in piss, bozo. It's not exactly a lore thing. Just a funny fuck-up that led to an accidental leak. The World Eaters are known for many things, one of which is not being funny. But there was a moment in, I believe, the Eater of Worlds book that kind of stood out to me as a bit silly by just how fucking insane it was. So, for context, in the Eater of Worlds book, we follow the inhabitants of one of the companies of the World Eater's ship, and some of the mortal crew on it, with a few of the Marines that are still alive after the heresy. Because brain damage is their trademark next to extreme usage of Tren, they can't really teach someone to be a new apothecary. The last apothecary was brutally fucking murdered by the subject of this funny haha. And who is this subject? Ruach. He was an ex-destroyer for the World Eaters, so to know what a destroyer is, think the Dreadwing from the Dark Angels on a squad-by-squad basis. They're equipped with war crime weapons. Ruach especially enjoying the radiation missiles, which have left him with late-stage super mega ultra space marine leukemia from all of the radiation that he had to soak in. So he has no hair, he has no teeth, and his eyes are mostly yellow from the liver damage. But the funny here isn't that'd be a little fucked up. The funny here is he's slowly going berserk. Well, not slowly. He's quicker than most, slower than like captains and higher ranking officials. He's losing himself to the butcher's nails in his head, which led him to kill the only apothecary on the ship, leading to the only person being able to treat wounds for Space Marines being a human woman who apprenticed under that apothecary. She was also gene enhanced to be super strong and physically intimidating, but again, nothing in comparison to a Space Marine. The moment in question is when Ruach went AWOL and started picking fights and murdering as he pleased. He was wanted by the higher-ups for his crimes because he couldn't be trusted and he was just killing useful resources like the apothecaries. But he ended up in the medical bay just because he got into a fight and got fucked up, didn't tell any of his superiors that he was there. He showed up with missing fingers on one of his hands from another World Eater whom had bitten them off in a fight. But it's okay because the scene is portrayed as him walking up to this lady whom knows this man is incredibly dangerous, looks at her, looks down, holds out his like broken, mangled ass hand missing 2 or 3 fingers, and then he reaches in the pockets of his jeans, pulls out 3 half-melted fingers, limply offers them to the lady and simply says, "Fix it." To which she understandably replies, I don't think that's how medicine works. To which he also understandably says, "Okay, make it a robot arm. I'll cut it off for you." And again, she just replies, "I am not an engineer, dog. I am barely a doctor." That is so stupid, but so funny and so in character for the World Eaters. For this guy to have no idea how medical practices work and just think that, hey, I got the fingers that are mostly like bone and sinew from some guy's stomach. You gotta fix them, right? You can do it, right? And then points at her and she says no. Well, how the scene ends is he ends up ripping off her arm. So yeah, I guess there's a little bit of comedy there. But yeah, it's just funny, the mental image of him holding his half-melted fingers like, I don't know, some kid trying to get their parents to fix their toy. It's just a little goofy. You lot ever see the movie Idiocracy? I know I'm kind of playing my hand early here, but if you didn't, it's basically a movie that plays with the concept of us losing the desire to be intelligent for the desire to have an easier life. Essentially, an average man gets frozen in a cryopod and wakes up hundreds of years in the future to find everybody is like sub 40 IQ. He is deemed the smartest man in the world and asked to correct all the problems of the world. Upon failing to do so, they hold these massive televised ceremonies about how they may in fact run the man over with the massive monster truck, and they call it rehabilitation, to quell an almost this religious obsession with the status quo and not being able to correct it. I bring this up because I can't help but feel that this is the existential hell that Rabute Gilliman has to live in at all fucking times ever since he got awakened from his neck ouchie. Reading anything from Gilliman's perspective as of right now in the lore is depressing as all fuck. He just hates everything and everyone to varying degrees and is starting to get really sardonic about it. It's like at every end, he is just disappointed with where humanity has went, which he has every right to be. A few good examples. For one, for quite a while, he couldn't leave the Armor of Fate without dying, which is the armor that's essentially a life support system for him. So he had to use big, mega, power-fisted, gauntleted fists to do anything. And just to remind you, he's not the combat war Primarch. He's the logistics, I write things Primarchs. So there are scenes of him trying to pick up a paper and maybe a pencil, and it just explodes in his hand, and he just can't do it. Because, there's 4 extra inches of ceramite and magic metal to keep him alive around his hands, so his manual dexterity's out the fucking window. Eventually, he found out how to survive outside of his armor for periods of time, but he is now in such a constant battle of trying to improve the Imperium while not pissing off the Zealots so much that they brand him a heretic and, burn him as a false prophet. Another fun one is when he was forced to hear someone recite a canticle to the machine spirit of his armor. He thought to himself, well, at least they aren't singing anymore. Good on you, Bobby G. It's all about the little victories, eh? His life is a comedy, and he is the clown. I really empathize with him in a lot of these situations, but it's really funny to see him try not to scream at random priests he meets because they think he's God. But that may just be me. Do you think he's miserable? I mean, I doubt you would disagree. The man is just sad-maxing all the time now. But let me know. On top of that, let me know of other funny moments you know of in the comments below, because that was all I had for now. So, if you could point me in the right direction, I'll gladly appreciate it. For now, I think I'm going to sit back and relax, because by the time this video is out, I should be on my trip to Atlanta to attend MomoCon. So, I'm excited for that. Regardless, there shouldn't be a break in content. I've been trying to get everything prepared for my absence. I like to think these videos out a few weeks to a week in advance anyhow, so it all works out. Thanks again for watching. Until next time. Oh, and for those of you asking me to go through the Caiaphas Cain books for funny moments, well, I can't. It's partly a comedy. Anyway, I just feel like I'm pulling jokes from some other comedian, which on any other day I would do because I'm a fucking hack, but in this case, it just feels especially egregious.